The hobby is being
What's
ruined.
considered scalping? I feel so bad for
One
new
Piece
collectors.
TCG collector.
Finance bros are
Best
never
advice
on
on
best
best
players.
buy.
Konami, in my opinion,
Should I
don't
sell?
think
I left the
availability
One
of cards
Piece
is ever
TCG
just get it.
subreddit.
All you One Piece TCG fans are the same.
Whoa.
Holy shit. There is beef. The One Piece TCG community and the One Piece TCG Finance community on Reddit have been butting heads over the holiday break. My name is Northside from Still Rippin' TCG, and I'm here to break down some of the things that are happening, inform you all, and discuss a little bit of what's taking place on Reddit. During the holiday break, there was a poll placed in the One Piece TCG community. Basically, they asked members, should we ban anybody that participates in One Piece TCG Finance or any TCG Finance subreddits? And this got a resounding 3-1 yes towards banning members from those other subreddits, so they can't participate in the One Piece TCG subreddit at all. This kind of becomes a classic player versus collector divide. Both sides think that they have a say and are protecting the game. Both sides are wrong. The main thing the One Piece TCG subreddit added was a rule that was banning users on participating in finance subs. The intent is to protect gameplay discussion, but the way that they did it was all fucked up, because if you are participating in another subreddit, you can't participate in their subreddit. People have been going online and giving their 2 cents about everything that's going on, and I think the majority of the people are somewhere in the middle when it comes to the entire thing. The way that they went about it just kind of seems like people are making decisions based on emotions rather than logic. There is a way to appeal your ban if you do get banned for posting some sort of finance, or if it gets mistaken for finance discussion in the TCG Reddit, or if you posted in something else. There's a way to let them know, hey, I'm one of the good guys, but the whole thing is really fucked. I get it. Players want a place where they can discuss strictly the gameplay. They want to ask about different strategies, different decks, and they want to get actual advice without it being flooded with people talking about money all the damn time. I totally understand that. You want a space where you can show off your deck, ask for tips, try and get better, bring the community together to discuss what the game is. It's a card playing game. There's competitions. It's badass. I love playing the One Piece TCG, and I've been playing it for over a year, since like OPTCG. Some of their biggest concerns are the accessibility. With the recent boom in the One Piece TCG market, a lot of people have been getting priced out of being able to afford different cards. Yes and no. If you are solely trying to play a card game, there are some cards that are going to be harder to get. Purple decks, they have Bon Clay. Red decks, they have Roger. Yellow decks have Kuma. Every deck has some sort of secret rare or something that is essential to the way that the deck is played. And those are harder to get because they're harder to rip or pull, so they cost more out on the market. And sometimes it's ridiculous. I remember Bon Clay being like $80 before a reprint was announced. Maybe even higher than that. But I say that to say that the majority of the cards that you can obtain from your deck are way affordable. To build a lot of these decks, you're looking at paying less than you would for the price of one box if you were just to get them singles at market value on like TCG Player or eBay, or even if you buy a complete deck on one of those or other platforms. A lot of the people in the One Piece TCG community feel that like talking about the money and talking about finances takes away from the entire point of the game, and it makes it anti-player with no intent of actually bettering the game, which is the entire reason that it exists. I somewhat get that. Whenever the boom was coming in, you did have people coming into the One Piece TCG subreddit and asking about, what about the value of this or investment with that? And people, it can get kind of annoying. But does it mean that they're wrong? Yes, no. A lot of the people that came in here are new to the game, and they saw the boom that was happening, and they wanted to just get their bread up. They wanted to make a quick flip off of buying boxes, scalping them at one price, and then rescalping them to somebody else. And it does hurt the community because There's less boxes for people to allocate from. The entire market of the cards goes up, but so does the popularity. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I don't know. That's your opinion. People are talking about the One Piece card game. More people are getting involved. You can't say that they're taking it away from kids, because there are a shit ton of cards that kids should not have access to. So this is strictly like players, adult players, that are trying to access things and feel like they can't. Many people that are involved in the finance aspect of the card game also play the card game. People like to put a bunch of alts into their decks, make them super badass. It is pretty badass when you're playing a match and boom, one manga, boom, all tar. But I mean, all gold dons. It's kind of badass. And if you watch regionals, if you actually look at gameplay at the top level, there are people that got some badass fully altered decks. Am I jealous about it? Hell yeah, I am. Can I personally afford that? I can't, but I do enjoy knowing that there are some pretty badass players out there. The One Piece TCG Finance subreddit also has rules against hype and manipulation. They have their own take on market awareness, and they try and keep people informed so that they make good decisions when making their purchases. That way that they're not getting scammed, buying fake shit, and everybody can have a fair and equal interest in the purchasing of cards. That does all get a little bit hazy from the recent boom. Like I mentioned, there are people that have just come in just to make a quick buck. You've got people that are making videos hyping up dumb fucking shit like the Gengar Nami. Yeah, it does kind of suck. The pumping of fake shit, like fake crossovers like Gengar Nami, it's kind of fucking ridiculous. And I think a lot of people that understand the actual value, not just the monetary value of cards, but playability, are also self-aware enough to understand that these things are just pump and dumps and they exist everywhere. Whether we like it or not, people are coming into the space and taking advantage of aspects of the game that can be manipulated through financial means. If you've got bread, you can buy up a bunch of shit, you can say whatever you want, you can set up its own price for it, and you can really fuck over the entire community. And I think that's what the One Piece TCG Reddit was trying to push against. They don't want these people that don't care about their hobby fucking up their hobby. It has messed things up for just the people that are in the middle. There are people that play the game, have a sealed collection, and enjoy collecting for their own personal collection. I have like one sealed box of each set that I could find over like the past year or so. I don't have them all, but I have some. And I also have a top loader binder with cards that I love. And I also have a couple decks. And I also have shoe boxes filled with a bunch of bulk with cards that I'm never gonna use or need again unless they for some reason become relevant to the meta and I need to dig out a play set. Other than that, I'm sitting on huge paperweights. I think the subreddit went too far. They're moderating identity instead of behavior, and that's going to set a bad precedent. It's turning the entire thing into an us versus them mentality, and it feels ideological rather than practical. I think people are speaking with their feelings more than with their brain. I don't know how many moderators there are on there, but just saying you can't sit with us is not going to benefit the community in itself. I spent time looking at both subreddits, and both of them have a point that makes sense. The finance guys sometimes downplay how price talk affects new players, treats the game like a stock before a game, and can feel dismissive about accountability concerns. That in itself is self-destructive to the game because it's going to price out a bunch of new people that want to enjoy it and learn about it. It will bring in some people, but it does bring in a lot of money-centric people that don't really care about the game itself and just want shiny cardboard so that they can make money on it later, which isn't exactly misplaced judgment. People have been talking about it all year about how a Pokemon card collection was performing better than the S&P 500 did in a lot of stock portfolios. Knowing that type of information out there is going to bring people's attention. Everybody wants to make money. Everybody is struggling, especially here in the US. If you're seeing how things are going down, everybody wants to make some sort of money somewhere. Yes, jobs do exist. It is kind of hard out there to find a job, especially even if you have a college degree. Like, it is not exactly easy, but they are out there and there are opportunities. When you see boxes go at MSRP for 115 bucks being jacked up all the way to $400, $700, it's kind of fucking wild. Nobody wants to pay these prices and be a casual player. If you're spending $700 on something, it could be considered more of an investment. I mean, put $700 into the market and see how that performs. Or put $200 into a box, watch it jump up 500 bucks in a couple months and cash out. Yeah, that's going to be attractive to a lot of people. And unfortunately, because of what we have, a lot of people are going to miss out on actually playing the game. This kind of conflict isn't new. It exists in other TCGs. It's existed in Pokemon. It's existed in Magic the Gathering. There's an aspect to it in sports cards. We see how other polarizing TCGs have played out. When you have Yu-Gi-Oh! That was just player-centric with no real alt art, and they're coming out with alt arts, that's a whole other thing. But then you have things like Yu-Gi-Oh! Where it's just player-centric, no real value added to it, and then that's kind of, if it's not dead yet, it sure as hell has been dying for a while. And then you have things like MetaZoo, where all the focus was on the value of the cards, and there wasn't really too much gameplay for it, if any whatsoever. And that shit's dead. There does need to be some sort of balance existing within the two of them. And the majority of the people that I believe participate with the game understand the monetary value in their own decks or in their own collection. A lot of people just like to collect cards because they are cool, but they're not getting the cards for free. Even before the boom, if you wanted a manga, you had to drop the $400 or $500 to get the manga. Yeah, I'm gonna get the manga sooner or whatever. And then the boom comes, the same manga is $1,000 more than what it initially was. Why the fuck didn't you get it when it was $400? Now it's $1,500, $2,000, and now you're upset about it? $400 was a lot. $1,500 is gonna be just as unreachable as the $400 was. And you don't need mangas to play the game. You don't need SPs to play the game. You can create your own deck with commons, kick ass, get some tournament prize cards, and keep it pushing. Enjoy the game for what it is. You don't even need to participate in Reddit. The moderators, to me, seem like they kind of have this blanket rule that's really going to fuck up a lot of things. They're not really building a bridge. And the people in the TCG finance community, they're going to move on. They're going to keep on doing what they're doing. It's not, if anything, from a lot of the comments that I've seen, out of resentment, they will continue to buy shit up and hold it without ripping it just to piss people off in the One Piece TCG subreddit. It is not what One Piece is about. I kind of like One Piece. I've kind of liked it for a while. And I think what I really enjoyed about it was how open and friendly the community was. When I went to my first local, it was actually at a regional. And I had never competed outside of the sim and at my friend's house. And I forgot my fucking Dawn. But this guy that I was playing with in the first round, I explained to him, I'm super new. This is the first time I've ever played against anybody. And this was a side event. It wasn't for like the actual regional competition, but it was a real match. And homie gave me Dawn. He was like, here, I'm not, super in love with these. Came with sleeves that I still have. I still have the Dawn sleeved up. I don't think he even gave me his name. He just gave me the Dawn. We played a match. He kicked my ass and we both went about our ways. It was in Dallas, Texas at the One Piece Day event. And he was in from like Florida or something like that. And then I went and I met more people and, I let them know, hey, sorry, I'm going to be slow. I'm new. Open, friendly, loving community that was just happy that more people were joining the game. And I won some of those matches. Whether I won or I lost, I was still having a good time. And I think there is a lot of people that are afraid that these finance guys are going to come in and just fuck up their hobby. There is a sense of ownership to the hobby. And I get it. We spend our time on this. We spend our money on this, our brain power to try and allocate the best kind of deck and perform in the best possible way. In some sets, this is the same mindset that athletes do when they go into competition. It is brain power, resilience, strategy, and a competitor mindset that differentiates the best from the best. And I don't know if the blanket rule is just like a lazy, we don't want to do shit option unless you kiss the ring with an appeal type of move. I don't know if there's enough moderators. I do know that less than 1% of the people in the actual subreddit voted for this rule change. 0.6 maybe? And they use that as a justification to completely change the rules for the entire 160,000 people that are in that subreddit. And are they just the people that got the name for the subreddit first, and it's just some dudes in some basement with a bunch of One Piece wanted posters and straw hat light up figures in their background that dictate how this community exists, that actually have nothing to do with Bandai? Yeah, maybe. But I do think that there are better ways to go about this. There could be more moderation instead of just telling people, you fuck with them, you can't fuck with us. The rules could be in place, enforcing no finance rules inside gameplay threads, tagging, setting clear boundaries without cross-subbing. Whenever you post on one subreddit, the option shows up, hey, do you also want to post on this subreddit? And it's the two that are fucking beefing with each other. And the majority of the people don't even know that this poll exists, that these rules exist. There are a lot of people that participate in these communities regularly, very, very regularly. But that's not everybody. And a lot of people are going to get blindsided because they posted on the finance after the rule went into effect, and then they go back and they post something else on the original OPTCG subreddit, and then boom, they're banned. Not really understanding why. I don't know. To me, it seems like a bunch of bullshit. I don't know. I collect cards. I sell cards on TCG Player. I sell cards on TikTok. I have a website where I sell cards. And I've been a part of this community for over a year, and I've really enjoyed my time. Am I a huge store with amazing allocation? No. I barely have any allocation. And I really just sell Japanese cards. If I could get my hands on some English, I would, but I don't have the couple G's that it takes to re-up on a case every once in a while. I also have a job and a kid, and I'm getting ready for a wedding that's for me at the end of this year. So I got a lot on my plate, but being involved in the One Piece TCG community and being a player, being a small e-commerce are all things that I enjoy to do. Everybody sees the hobby as their own, and they can treat it as such. There are going to be people that come in and ruin the fun for everybody. And they're easily found. You can see them in the way that they ask questions. What kind of ETBs of One Piece are available, and what's the best place to get them at? Like there's a lot of people that will out themselves out. You choose who you want to fuck with in the community, but I personally don't think that the scalpers or the interest in One Piece are going to be going anywhere anytime soon. I've heard rumblings from some of the big dogs on YouTube that this is going to be one of the years where One Piece is going to outperform Pokemon, which some people love, some people hate. I don't know. I was sitting on the sidelines for a while. I don't really collect Pokemon. I've been in One Piece, and just seeing the chaos from that end was, kind of funny at first, but now that it's rolled on over to our side, it's a little disheartening. It's going to suck if you see people like beating each other up for One Piece cards at Target, and then it becomes less accessible for the regular people that really do want to just play the game. But it is crazy to say that you can't love the game and care about the value at the same time. You can dislike speculation and accept that the markets exist. The hobby is big enough for both. But walls don't protect communities. Good rules and moderation will. I think that the move is bad moderation, and I think that the rule is stupid. But this is just Reddit. It's not real life. It's not going to stop people from making decks that are cheap and accessible. It's not going to stop you from downloading the Bandai TCG app and going to your local, because there are plenty of locals. And There are plenty of spots to fill up. It's not at the point where if you try and get on the app, every single store is completely filled to 64 seats and you can't get in there. There might be 1 or 3, but there are a shitload of LGSs in a lot of major cities that have a bunch of one-piece stores, or that have a bunch of one-piece tournaments that don't even fill up the minimum requirement of players. If you find yourself out there and you want to get involved with the game itself, do a little bit of research, watch some other YouTubers that break down how some of the decks work, and buy the most basic version of the deck that you can get. If you get some packs and you rip an SP and it's for your deck, hell yeah. If you rip an SP or a manga and you don't really want it and you sell it at market and then you use that money to build the deck that you actually want or get another card that you actually want, who cares? It's your money. You do what you want with it. The fact of the matter is, we're gonna have to coexist with each other, whether we like it or not. A lot of people don't. I get pissed thinking about how I can't have any more sealed product added to my collection. But it does give me more of an incentive to just rip the shit that I want to rip. And I rip a lot for funsies. I don't know. Let me know in the comments where you stand. What do you like? Visit my store, stillrippingtcg.com, or my TikTok if you want to see some memes and fucking laugh or some shit. Thank you for watching my video, and keep it ripping, everybody.